What I needed was not a new weapon, but a new animal.
A new animal?
Exactly so.
You found one?
Yes. Here on my island, I hunt the most dangerous game.
Most dangerous game?
Most dangerous game? What could it be?
The game I am hunting is all of you.
We are going to hunt you, Cricket.
What happens if I get caught?
Ooh, don't get caught. Don't get caught. Well, there he goes.
Hunt man? You raving maniac.
Well, conventional wisdom says good fleeing will always beat good chasing. But the stats say put your money on the guy with the gun.
And the hunt begins.
Indeed, indeed. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to The Most Dangerous Podcast, a show about all these different incarnations of the most dangerous game. I am Travis Fishburne.
I am Alex Brunel.
And I'm Dustin Meadows.
And this week we got a special treat. We've got 1987's direct-to-video, Deadly Prey.
Yeah, back to video, Action International Pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think that's what AIP stands for.
Yes, Action International Pictures.
Was
Alex,
this my pick? Did I pick a trashy movie?
This
it
was yours.
your pick, and
Okay, I stand by it.
I was just I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was
Yeah, me too.
from the get and then all the way through. I'm like, oh, I'm jiving with this.
I agree. I don't think anyone could reasonably consider this a great or even very good movie. But I was thoroughly entertained for probably 77 of the 85 minutes that the movie lasted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This should be kind of the bar for like the bad movies we watch.
Agree.
Because this was a fun bad movie.
This was
not
a
a
lot
slog
of fun.
like certain works by Casper Van Dien.
Yes.
Exactly.
No, I was from the get-go when we were getting the title sequence and there's just doing all the cuts to the weapons getting ready and the music.
They load every gun in the movie.
Yeah, and I'm like, and just from there on, it just keeps going, and I'm like, this is, I could tell right away, like, unlike the Casper Van Dien Most Dangerous Game, where it's just
Right.
like, everyone's here to collect a paycheck, and everyone hates their job. This is one that was like, they made it with passion, and you can tell.
They did. And I could talk, and this isn't something I know a ton about, but there's things that I can make some presumptions about. But so this movie, the synopsis: a group of sadistic mercenaries kidnap people off the street and set them loose on the grounds of their secret camp, so their students at the camp can learn how to track down and kill their prey. Basically, there's an ex-military guy. His name is Hogan. Love that they named this guy Hogan. Who has defected to, or he was discharged from the military because they didn't like his methods for basically creating super killer mercenaries. So he decided to privatize that with a character that I called Business Suit. I think he's Michelson. Yeah. And they kidnap the wrong man. And it all goes to hell. It's written and directed by a guy named David A. Pryor, who made a lot of junk movies, like a lot of stuff of this ilk. He made a lot of AIP stuff, started with shot on home video movies. Sledgehammer is a shot on video movie. He directed Killer Workout, so that's fun. The star of the film is his brother, Ted. So what this is two brothers who, you know, just doing what they do and hanging out and having fun and making a really silly backyard movie to the extreme. and it makes the movie really fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. This definitely, it felt like they had one area where like they just had access to a forest on someone's property, and it was like, yeah, we can make a movie in this.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And like I'm gonna be having to stop myself from just like reading my notes because like every kill is new and ridiculous, and it's not like over the top performative like some kills we've seen in like more action oriented iterations of these adaptations. Let me where does he start killing people? Let's see. I identify his wife as sexy black nighty perfect hair because she wakes him up at 8 o'clock in the morning in a sexy black nighty with perfect hair.
Because he's late for work.
The plot really and what is his work? What is
they
he late
they
for?
never said that, and I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
right.
curious what
He's a
his
foreman at the
work
muscle
is.
factory.
So he gets kidnapped off the street. They're just like, this is how they're just, because the guy that's being chased in the opening just looks like a cubicle worker. Like he looks like just like some schlub.
He had no chance.
No.
But
No.
this guy, they roll
Oh,
up
he-
on him, and you hear him say, "Oh, this guy looks like a fun time."
He did take out one guy with a rock.
He did. His death is so great though, because like at a certain point, he just gives up. He just stops trying to run, turns to them, stands in one place. He's like 10 feet away from them. They're all in a line, and he's just screaming, "Please don't kill me!" Standing in one place with like probably actually less emphasis than I just delivered that line with. They don't listen. They kill him. But yeah, this is... Oh, right. The other thing I wanted to mention about the very beginning of the movie, the title card, the very first thing that happens is just a silhouette of our guy just like ready to fight whatever may come his way before cutting to the montage of every gun being loaded as the credits roll by. It's incredible. How many kills are in this movie, I wonder?
67, I think.
That's amazing. So Danton, 10-foot tall MacGyver, wields a fully grown tree as if it were a billy club crushing one of his foes. Danton, the dictionary definition of physical fitness, picks up a man, holds him horizontally, breaking him in half over a tree. Danton, silent predator, stabs a pathetic excuse for a man in the heart before moving on to his next foe. Danton, master interrogator, pins this man to a tree, demanding information. The man tells him of Hogan, who Danton has history with. Danton, man of mercy, ends this rat's life quickly by slicing an artery. What else does he kill? Danton, master of camouflage, emerges from the bushes, destroying one enemy. Danton, Boy Scout tote and chip card holder, whittles a spear with lightning speed and precision with just enough time to skewer a man and hide while misleading the rest of the group. Danton, resourceful fox, pulls a man into the brush as if he were reaching into a lake to catch a fish. He informs the man, "You're dead," before making him so. The whole movie's like this. That's like 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh, yeah. I think my favorite is when he springs up from under the leaves and pulls the guy under the ground.
It's incredible. That is on par with him leaping out of the lake. Like the guy's just passing by the lake and he just leaps out of nowhere and pulls the man in to drown him. It's incredible. Danton, gymnast prodigy from age 4, descends effortlessly from a tree to fell another military personnel. Danton, prowling jaguar, watches the men from above hiding in the branches.
Don't forget, Danton punches the woman and then shoots her with her own gun.
He does do that. And this movie gets crazy ass violent.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
By the end of the movie, everyone is dead. Everyone except Danton is dead. And the end of the movie is he just screams to the heavens because he realizes the monster he's become and he doesn't know what he does now.
I'm glad you pulled something from that because my only thought was, is this copy broken? This is
No,
like,
I mean, I'm ascribing a lot of things. You know, I have in here somewhere where he studied with apothecaries in Eastern Europe for 7 years, and that's how he was able to do his healing bit.
I'm just saying, we're going to mention it later, but there is a sequel to this. And if the sequel doesn't open literally from where this one ended, I'm going to be pretty mad.
Oh, it's gonna be Rocky style.
Yeah,
I'm very curious to know what the sequel is like.
I think it should be. It still I assume it still has him, I would think.
It is.
Oh
yeah,
yes,
he's
it
in
is. It is again written by
David and starring Ted.
Written by Ted, written directed by David, starring Ted. I also want to point out that I was doing a bit of reading about Ted today. You know who Ted is?
Who's
You
Ted?
guys? Ted. I'm pretty sure Ted's Flesh Gordon.
Oh God.
Am
Oh,
I correct?
Flesh
about that?
Gordon.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
Flesh
that is not
Gordon. No, he's not Flash Gordon.
No, Flesh Gordon. That's why, I was clarifying because I was confused. I was like, that's not
Yeah.
Flash Gordon, but Flesh
No,
Gordon,
wait.
I would believe.
Am I wrong? What? Wait, I might be wrong. Don't quote me. Move on. I'll figure this one out. What have I done?
Opened up a can of worms for who is Flesh Gordon.
I may have. He's directed stuff too. Oh no, that's never mind. There's a different rabbit hole. I was looking up what other people in this movie were in. 2 of them were in 250 other things. Travis, you could talk about those guys. But everybody else was only in like 5 or 6 movies.
Yes.
One of them was Suzanne Terra, who played Jamie, who was the sexy black knighty perfect hair. She was in a movie from 1987 that was only ever available on home video. Never came out on any other format since VHS, called The Danger Zone. And there are 4 movies in the Danger Zone franchise. Or no, 5 actually, because there's a spin-off after the 4th movie. 6 girls are on their way to Las Vegas to sing in a TV competition, but when their car breaks down, their only choice is to walk to a town they see in the distance. Little do they know that this ghost town is the hideout of a gang of drug-dealing bikers. The bikers hold the girls captive, and only one man can save them. And that's Jason Williams, who was Flesh Gordon. So that's why I got the wires crossed.
So not Danton.
Not Danton. I was going down a different rabbit hole from a different trashy movie with a very generic title from 1987, released by American International Pictures.
Yeah, it seemed like Cameron Mitchell, who played Jamie's unnamed father, seemed like he was probably the biggest name attached to this.
For sure.
For sure.
I'm trying to. I remember
Guy
looking. He was
who's
in some
just,
notable
like,
horror stuff.
Worked with legends. Like, he was one of the main guys in How to Marry a Millionaire with, Lauren Bacall and Marilyn Monroe. So, like, this guy, A-list at one point, and then I'm sure 30 years later, when he's like, what the fuck am I doing on this?
Gotta keep up that health
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy looking him up and seeing his most recent credit was 2018, becoming confused, and then remembering that we're in such a state of media that I completely forgot that Orson Welles' Lost film was completed and released 6 years ago.
Yes.
Oh, he was in a lot of Bava stuff. It looks like.
Oh, he was the captain of the ship in Space Mutiny. That's why he looks so familiar to me. Space Mutiny is one of my favorite episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
That buff Chestwell. Is that
Yeah.
episode? Yeah. Okay.
Big McLarge, huge Hulk beef chest.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Blood and Black Lace.
There you go.
One of the aforementioned Bava films.
He's in this movie called Frankenstein Island. That looks fun.
Where is it? Oh, he's in Buck and the Preacher with Sidney Poitier.
I'm a little interested in Frankenstein Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Especially with
amazing.
that 2.0 IMDb rating.
Oh, woof. Not even liked by people who like bad things.
Yeah.
Here's the one sentence synopsis of Frankenstein Island, which I think we could maybe twist to fit our format.
Oh,
The
man,
plot
I-
concerns a group of balloonists stranded on an island where they're captured by Dr. Frankenstein's female descendant, Sheila Frankenstein, who has been kidnapping shipwrecked sailors for years and turning them into zombies, which is almost the same as hunting them for sport.
This is true.
Oh my god. I'm down. I'll stretch. Sounds great.
Yeah. Night Train to Terror. He's in Action USA, which is an amazing movie. And he was in a bunch of spaghetti westerns.
What's the availability of Frankenstein Island, I wonder? Oh, on Pluto and Tubi. Perfect.
Oh,
There we go.
swooping in to save the
Great
day.
poster on Letterboxd. Like, great poster on Letterboxd. I'm not sure if you can get a graphic up, Trav.
No, I'm not going to.
Don't worry about it. It's unimportant to the podcast.
But it's important to us.
This is great. I like this rabbit hole we're going down. Jerry Warren. Why do I know that name? Directed Batwoman, Teenage Zombies, The
Oh, that's an
Incredible
amazing
Petrified
poster.
World. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'm pro Frankenstein Island.
Oh, wow. Okay, so one of his directing credits is Man Beast in 1956, and then the movie we're gonna watch is like same genre but 1981. Is he still alive? I have so many questions. We'll find all this out and more. Trav, do you have who else? This other guy, Troy Donahue, has a bit of history as well.
Oh, hold on.
Shock 'Em Dead's a fun movie. He was in that. He's in Double Trouble with those twin wrestlers who tried to do the thing. The Pauls.
Yeah, I think the Barbarian Twins they were called.
There you go. Yes. Oh right, I forgot that John Paragon directed Double Trouble. Oh, that makes me sad. I need to see that someday. John Paragon was Paul Rubens' primary writing partner. Aside from Phil Hartman, he played Zombie, Boyce, Terry, and Oh, and he was in UHF. He's Kevin McCarthy's son in UHF.
And
Oh, nice.
I remember we were also pleasantly surprised when he showed up in Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. Or Honey, I Blew
Yes,
Up the
he
Kid.
did. That was great. He directed Double Trouble, and I forget that, which means because I don't really want to watch this, but I love John Paragon, so I will watch it someday.
So yeah, Troy Donahue, similarly, prolific, being, in such things as The Godfather Part 2. And the John Waters Crybaby.
It's been a long time since I've seen Crybaby. I got to revisit Crybaby.
I don't know if I've seen it since college. It's been a minute for me too.
I saw artifacts from it recently.
Oh, at the Pope of Trash.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
I was bummed. We ended up just not being able to find the time to go before it closed.
Yeah, we had a great day there. We're seeing Chinatown tomorrow night.
Oh, at the Academy
Oh.
Museum?
Yeah, we're going to see a new restoration of Chinatown in the giant theater.
Will
Very
Roman
nice.
Polanski be there?
Yes,
It's all a
There-
trap.
hologram Polanski is going to be in attendance direct from wherever he's hiding in Europe. Where's he hiding?
Yeah, somewhere in Europe.
He's going to be there incognito. And it's going to be a trap, just like that movie Trap.
Just like that movie Trap. Yeah, I don't know. What else you got, Trav?
Nah, I mean, yeah, that's all I got really. Except
Okay.
for, well, hold on. I'm not ready for this yet.
I will say one of the things
Cocksuckers.
that was surprisingly pretty solid in this is the practical gore effects. There are a few that are pretty bad, especially towards the very end.
Yeah,
But everything before, a lot of the stabs and the body hits and stuff look pretty good.
they're pretty good. But like you said, it does go off the rails, like because there's a certain point where, again, toward the end, where it literally turns into the UHF parody of Rambo.
It does.
Where
Yeah.
like nobody has squibs, nobody gets hit, nothing makes sense. There's a point where literally I wrote in my notes, okay, I can't keep up with this. I'm checking out now. It's just the Rambo parody from UHF. And then he pops out of a hole in the ground and goes, oh, like just like Al does in UHF.
Yep.
Takes down the helicopter in one shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a very bloodless arm severing.
That so what happened? He cuts off the guy's arm with a machete and then beats him to death with it, right?
Which is a great, great
It's
way to
great.
kill the dude. But then he scalps him, and that's not bloodless, but it's definitely less bloody than you would think scalping someone would be.
And then
He pulls
the
up a
scalp
very
prop-
real looking scalp.
Yeah, the scalp prop that they use does not match the guy's hair color at all.
No, it does not. I was losing it during that.
Me too. But I also love that. Like I love just those like totally transparent practical effects where it's just like you imply the action, tilt up the camera, and then like hand the guy a thing that he can
Mhm.
bring up into view. Like it's so cheeseball, but like it's like believable in that moment, even though you know that looks like a piece of shit. Like you buy it for the context.
Yeah, as someone who's done, so I did a short last year where the character I was playing stomped on a dude's head and exploded it. And for the effect, I just bought like some kind of cheap old man mask and like the cheapest wig I could find that did not match his hair at all. And then like we kind of like hollowed out a melon and put like some bananas and stuff in there for brains and like fake blood, and like that, and then just put that inside the mask. And if you only look at it for about the 2 seconds it's on screen, it's passable. But they just like, hey, what if we linger on this effect so that we're not even trying to sell the illusion?
Yeah, it is very much like that. But you know, it makes me think of the Ed Wood school of filmmaking. And I am basing this off of the movie Ed Wood and not like, you know, direct experience with Ed Wood. But like, I remember a scene in Ed Wood where someone calls out, he's like, you know, those tombstones just look like cardboard. That like everyone's gonna know that's cardboard. He's like, it doesn't matter. They know what it's supposed to be. It's movies. And like I totally agree with that. Like if you just like say that this is what this looks like and this is what it is, the audience either accepts it or doesn't. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, that's a fair point.
I think more filmmakers should embrace that. I mean, I understand why that can't be embraced on like a big Hollywood level.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I also read that this movie was entirely shot on short ends, which all AIP movies
Yeah.
were. That makes complete sense.
there's
Now,
so many, like-
pretend one of us doesn't know what that means.
Got it. Okay, so when feature film productions would buy large quantities of film or TV shows, whatever was shooting film, if they didn't shoot a whole roll, they would write on the can that they didn't shoot the whole roll, and oftentimes the camera assistant would cut off the part of the roll hadn't been shot that was still unexposed negative, and keep that. And if they didn't get used during the course of the production, at the end of the production, they would generally sell back the remaining film to wherever they bought the film from. So there's either recans, which are like full rolls that were unshot, but they were previously opened, and short ends, which are partially shot rolls that may be, you know, anywhere from like 50 to 400 to, you know, less than 400 feet. So the thing about that is like, it's a mixed grab bag. It's whatever you can afford. And this is like a dirt cheap production. And I read that they apparently did not do any kind of color correction on it because that just wasn't part of the post-production budget. So
Yeah, I
they
believe
just
that.
tried to make sure they used the same film stock within the same scene. And that was kind of the best they could do. And, you know, they'd use the longer cans for the dialogue scenes and they'd use the shorter pieces for the action beats and try to get around it that way. But this is like a real like spit tape and like just passion making a movie.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Running on
another
sheer
thing, like,
pluck, grit, and moxie.
Yeah.
I like read on that was like, you know, some of it could have been like really old, like varying degrees of like how old the, you know, the short ends were.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It's like, oh, some of these things look like the film stock, like is from an older movie than what we're looking at right now. And it's hard to tell because,
It
you
is.
know, the
There's
copy
no
that
good
we
master.
have is hard to, you know.
Yeah. It's not just the copy that we have. It is the
It's
copy that
actual-
exists.
Yeah, it's
Like
the only one.
this is really unfortunate, and I'm gonna explain it in excruciating detail. The movie only exists as a Betacam SP PAL master. When film would get transferred to videotape in North America, videotape runs at 29.97 interlaced fields per second. So when a movie running at 24 frames got transferred to video, a thing called telecine had to be applied, which basically makes up 6-ish frames per second to be able to get into the same amount of time on the videotape. In Europe, electricity standards dictated a different frame rate for their analog video. That was 25 interlaced fields per second, which is much closer to the natural frame rate of film at 24. So over in Europe, they would speed up the film by 1 frame per second, and there's like ever so slight chipmunking effect. Like if you watch a movie you know really well from a PAL master, your brain is like, what's going on here? So this movie is from that. The North American Blu-ray of this is sourced from that master because it's the only one that exists, but it is at 29.97 interlaced fields per second and not 5. It's converted to NTSC, so like I have no idea where any fields that got converted to frames that got converted back to fields are. I can't even make sense of how gross that would look. There's a German Blu-ray where they actually slowed it down to the correct 29.98 frames per second, correctly slowed audio, but that's more difficult to get. We weren't able to watch that. But what we did watch was a straight 25 frames per second copy. So that's like closest to the 1-to-1 with the existing master. It's a sad situation. Wish they could find the film.
Yeah.
I know too much about this stuff.
No, but like as soon as like I started watching it, I'm like, oh, well, this is, and I looked into like how it was made. I'm like, okay, and I'm also like, I know if whatever the best version of this movie is, Alex would provide it. So I knew we were watching the only one that existed.
Yeah. Both versions. Yeah. So I hope that something from this movie is found eventually. I hope a better copy is found. I hope that somebody wants to finance it because it's a really fun little thing. Like Vinegar Syndrome has restored and released way worse movies than this.
I'm genuinely I was surprised when I was looking through stuff that someone like Vinegar Syndrome hadn't done this.
It has to be like with something that's like this, 'cause it's been on Riff Tracks. This is like a movie that like, you know, people that watch bad action movies from the 80s know about. So I have to imagine it's got like some weird rights thing or some like scuffle or I don't know. But it's so much fun.
It is.
Yeah.
And it was just like completely off my radar. And when I, I was watching, I'm like, wow, I feel like this needs to be talked about more. This is just
totally
really
agree.
good with the terrible dialogue and the really bad acting. It's great.
Every tagline is terrible.
Yeah.
Like sorry, go ahead.
It's one that I've known about for several years now, and it just has never gotten around to. So I'm glad we had an excuse to.
Me too. What are some of the things that Sunglasses says most of them. He tells one guy to suck this.
Yeah. I think it's is it the soldier he kills, like his own dude that he kills that he says that to, I think?
Yes. Like the one guy he's just venting his frustrations.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's killing our guys, man. Like, what are we doing? You know, instead of just being like, calm down, he just says, suck this, and then shoots him
Yep.
a lot.
That's what it is. It's the second dude that he kills in his troop, because the first dude he kills is the guy that Shelby dude beat with the rock and then like let him get away,
Yes.
and then they had to kill him. So okay, yeah, I remember that. I believe before he kills, I think it's Cooper, the dude that ends up being like Danton's buddy that with him.
Yes, true brother, bonded for life. Jack Cooper.
I believe his kill line is "You fucked up."
Yeah, I wrote that is right because I wrote in my notes. He says that, and I wrote I agree. Like he fucked up. Like he had the kill shot after somehow getting the shot of like the bad guy has the damsel in distress like this classic style, gun to her head, and Jack Cooper swings out of nowhere, takes him out, like hits him in the shoulder with his rifle, and he goes down, and she's safe, and he has his gun to the bad guy's head, and decides to not kill him. Basically to save him for Danton, for all intents and purposes. But then he dies immediately after because he didn't take the shot.
Yep, he blew it.
But if he had taken the shot, I think he still would have died.
Probably.
Maybe,
This
but
is
he
an
would have.
everyone dies movie, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But he would have at least, been ready to fire instead of standing there like a doofus.
Um,
That's true.
did you guys? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Danton also gets the great kill line when he punches the woman and steals her gun. His kill line is "fuck you."
Yeah, that was probably the best one. That's the most straight ahead.
Yep.
What else are you gonna say to that lady?
Oh yeah.
Oh heck, I lost.
I think the dad, when he first gets there, there's one of the mercenaries comes up and says friends or foe.
Okay.
And I think he says friends. And I think he says something like bullshit and then shoots
No,
them.
I
No,
wrote
what
it
is it?
down. He says liar. He just
Liar.
says liar.
That's what it is. I knew it was something like that.
It's so
Liar,
benign. It's so benign. Friend or foe? Friend. Liar. Great moment.
Yeah. it feels
Did you like how
Cameron-
Dad? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it feels like Cameron Mitchell definitely knocked all his stuff out probably over a weekend.
100%. Did you like when Daddy showed up in a Geo Tracker
Yes.
and like his weekend hiking outfit to get a beat on like what the situation was like at the
Mhm.
base camp?
I love when he shows up and his daughter's explaining like somebody took him, and he's like, it's the way that it's played is like he suspected and he knew like I know what's going on here.
Right.
Like he's he'd heard of it, he's part of it somehow.
I was amazed he was able to like get her to, because it doesn't seem like she called the police. It seems like she didn't do anything except cry, sit by the hearth and watch the fire and try to call her daddy to fix it. And only when he was there questioning did she think like, oh yeah, I remember some of the identifying features of the vehicle, including specific numerals that would refer to the vehicle in a specific way.
Yeah,
Yes, I
that's
remember these.
the way, because when she's naming off the license plate number, and it's like he's like, "Are you sure it was that one?" Okay.
And she like corrects herself.
Yeah.
It's weird because minus the daddy angle, I told you guys about this offline. There's a movie called Death Ring that has a fairly similar premise where a former soldier is kidnapped, except instead of for training mercenaries, it's for basically all of these soldiers pay to hunt him. But a lot of similarities. In Death Ring, the star is Mike Norris, who definitely got to make that movie because his dad was Chuck.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I was noticing some similarities between, although Death Ring is way more boring than this is.
Yeah, that sounds like the category of bad boring that we've at this point seen too many of.
Yes, there's some decent stunts at the end of that one, and Billy Drago knows what movie he's in.
Sure.
But outside
But
of that,
could-
oh boy.
But could you just like edit a reel of just Billy Drago's scenes and present them out of context and that's just as good?
Oh, it's even better.
Right.
Like, yeah, just cut it down to that, and then the few like stuntman leaps when a grenade sends them flying, and then yeah, that's all you need.
You guys got to remind me after the show. I want to send you the only 9 seconds of the movie Hell Ride that's worth watching.
Oh, perfect.
And
Hell
in the
Ride.
similar way to the exploding head scene in Deadland with the basketball and the old lady. That's
Hell yeah.
literally the only part of that's a terrible movie except for that one moment.
Yeah,
Hell Ride has one of those.
Okay, but does Hell Ride have Anne Ramsey?
No, but it does have Michael Madsen in this moment.
Oh, all right, that's pretty good too. Oh, one of the other things, I was looking it up because I was curious. This came out 5 months after Predator.
Yep.
And there is absolutely a moment in here
There's the
where you
shot.
get the bicep close up when him and his brother for life slap arms together.
Yep. As soon as I saw that shot, I did the same thing. I'm like, all right, this is the same year. When was this released in conjunction? Okay.
Yep, this
They
came out in
shot that.
November and Predator was June or July.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must have been like just after the release, like just after it hit. These guys went and saw it and were like, we can do some of this.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
I would have loved it if this predated Predator and we could be like.
That's
McTiernan
honestly what I was
obviously saw-
hoping for.
yeah.
'Cause I remembered that they were both 87, but
Yeah.
I had to dig and see which one actually was released first. And this definitely feels like it was shot probably over 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I want to talk about the Hogan character a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's insane.
Yup.
So he has seemingly just like a assistant that he diddles, who's like very fiery. This is the one that gets murdered by Danton in his house later in the film.
Yeah.
Because there's one scene where like another character walks in and he's literally just like making out with her and heavy petting in a tent. Like he's in the middle of all of this, and he's choosing to use his time. He spends a lot of time in the movie romanticizing how incredible Danton is as a soldier.
I mean,
And-
for good reason, we see.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
really
mean,
weird-
like,
It's weird because like there's obviously this movie is definitely borrowing from a lot of things, and like we said Rambo earlier, it's very much like this kind of weird, bizarro like Troutman Rambo relationship.
mhm. For sure. And I have to like, and also just like as Ted Pryor, like you have a brother who has a capability of making a movie, and you're Ted Pryor, and you're not gonna have that body to not use it.
Oh yeah.
And then you
Fool
get your
not to.
brother to just do this showcase for it. It's so great, and he's running around in cutoffs the whole movie.
I love that we haven't even mentioned that yet.
I
Like,
can't-
I
Golden
can't believe
God and
we've gotten
cutoffs.
this far and not mentioned that he's running around in basically Dave Dukes.
The hottest
I
of
think
pants.
I think they even oil him up before they turn him loose in the woods.
Definitely.
Which is
He
like,
glistens through most of the movie.
it's like, all right, I think there's a little bit more going on than you guys just want to hunt him down.
He's very Ripley. He
Yeah.
is so defined. Like he's action hero ripped in like a modern 21st century superhero movie
Yeah.
kind of way.
No,
It's
I
insane
was
how
like,
yoked he
oh,
is.
this guy was gonna play Thor, and
Right.
Yeah.
Like he has a Marvel body in 1987 when like people weren't really doing that to themselves yet.
no.
Yeah. Hogan
Um,
saw Danton in the shower. He said Danton was cut. Said Danton was shredded.
He was not wrong. So like basically Hogan also wants to fuck Danton, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
But then because he's such a failure at killing Danton this whole time, what he ultimately resorts to is having Sunglasses kidnap his wife, Sexy Black Nighty Perfect Hair, to bring her to the tent specifically to rape her to upset Danton.
Yeah.
Well, and also, the theory that he wants to have sex with Danton, he's doing it to like, get one step,
Oh,
degree
100%.
closer.
100%.
It's also
And
insane
then-
because at one point they literally have Danton captured and tied up.
Yeah. And he
'Cause,
breaks free of his bind as if they are made of tissue paper.
Yeah, well, because
Yeah, 'cause Jack Cooper
said
cut his-
he cut his. Rose was like, if the whole point was to hunt down and kill this dude to train your men, and you capture him, like, what are you keeping him around for? To do
I
the
know, they
thing that
keep
you
not
wanted them
ki-
to do later?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They keep
it's
not
insane.
killing each other. And then so like just with this Hogan thing and the raping, is there's this moment that happens where like Business Suit is like driving and Daddy has set a trap. Daddy has just like left his car in the middle of the road and acts like he's passed out on the ground, and then confronts Business Suit, delivers him what has to be a prepared speech that Daddy
Yes.
has just been wanting to say to this guy for so long before murdering him. This guy's financing the whole operation. The whole rest of the movie goes on without Hogan knowing that the beneficiary, like the financier of the whole thing, is gone and the whole thing is over. No one's getting paid. He has no idea. And then Daddy goes to the compound where he is taken captive. Sexy Black Knight in perfect hair cries, literally, I think the line is, "Daddy, he raped me."
Yeah.
And then he lunges with the gusto of a man who was just told he had to eat this salad to wrap his hands around this guy's throat and kind of push him a little bit. And then Hogan just shoots him in the gut, and that's the end of Daddy. It's so weird. It's so, of all the things, all the kills in the movie, that one is the weirdest.
Yeah, it's like I had to go back and rewind because I wasn't sure what had happened in like that 5 seconds. I
Right.
was like, okay, no, he lunged at him and he shot him and he's dead, and with little fanfare, Daddy's out of the picture.
Yeah, it was not unlike Corpse Father in the last week's movie, the John Voight in the chair and the wire that just like, what the fuck just happened? It was not unlike that moment, really. And it's like, wait, what? The other one was more extreme.
Yeah, but it's like it's such a lazily. It's like we've seen so much violence.
I know.
Most of it done really well, and then this just kind of like
I know.
shrug of a murder.
It's one of the 7 or 8 like not so great minutes of the 85 minutes.
Oh yeah, but like honestly, they probably could have cut the entire thing with the dad. Although I imagine Cameron Mitchell's probably maybe how they helped sell it a little.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was top billed, no?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I mean, honestly, aside from the business dude getting killed by him, he doesn't really do anything else that affects the story, and Danton could have just as easily been the one that killed business dude.
100%.
Or business dude could have survived, and that could have been the lead into Deadliest Prey.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, Cameron Mitchell ultimately does very little to affect anything that matters.
Totally true.
Boba Fett of this movie before Boba Fett got stuff to do after he got out of the sand
I was
butt.
gonna say Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about when he has to resort to eating worms right away, within like hours of being dropped off.
Yeah. Danton, trained forest survivalist.
I got worms.
And he cooked up some rats.
It's not even like, all right, it's been days and the guy is starving. It's like, no, this is this is a few hours he's been here.
To be fair, Danton is a Michelin star chef. He made himself a gourmet meal sourced from local ingredients one night in the forest around the fire. So I'm sure that was like the most exquisite rat and worm dinner that anyone has ever had in that neck of the woods.
And like the other thing I loved about the movie was the score. And
the score was great.
For some weird reason, the score during that sequence was like very somber, and I was like, this is weird.
The other really weird one was when he wakes up the next morning after his meal, and he's on like someone's property. There's just like these two dim-witted farmers who I guess live
the
in this
hillbillies.
area. The
Mhm.
hillbillies. And where's my part about that? Like,
Here, I've got their dialogue here. Hillbilly Will says, "Damn fool running around the woods with no clothes on." The other one says, "Well, that boy's been eating rats." And then Hillbilly Will says, "Hey, it don't surprise me none. Them city folks will eat anything." Which I'm sure,
yeah.
I think I delivered that with like a better accent than these guys did.
Oh yeah.
Hundo P. But what is he? Oh yeah. He like they deject him. They eject him at gunpoint. Danton, his skin dirtied but glistening, doesn't understand why these locals reject him so. And he walks down the stream. Oh wait, the walks down the stream is earlier. But he does like walk down the stream, and I recall the score is like kind of like a 1970s nature documentary.
Yeah.
Like I recall like a soft flute, perhaps. And then at the end of the movie when he gears up, like he opens his like foot locker that has like a machete that's gonna give someone a disease before it removes any limbs. And like all this other kind of just like half-assed bullshit. And then he shows up, and it seemed like he also brought with him his theme music for the first time in the film. And that was a fun piece of score. I really liked that totally cheeseball piece of like 70s synthesizer action score.
Yeah, there need to be more of that.
Yeah. You could learn, like, study those pieces, learn how to create that sound, and play
act
it.
like I haven't been.
Okay, great. I need to listen to your scores.
I am. I'll send you some stuff later on.
Your sample. Do you have a Bandcamp? Do you have a sampler online?
I've got a couple of demo reels of stuff that I've done on my YouTube. Almost everything I've done has been horror, so I would love to actually get to score something that's not horror, because there's pretty limited range of what you can do with horror scores and make it work.
Sure.
But I would love to do something like a Predator type score, or whatever other like 80s action kind of synth based score.
Harold Faltermeyer kind of stuff.
Yeah. Or even like a RoboCop, like some Basil Polidorus stuff.
Yeah.
Basil, yeah.
Basil. Thumbs up. Hell yeah. All right. Check all that stuff out on Dustin Meadows Comedy on YouTube. I'm opening up these videos to check out after the show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think those were the only other things like I really thought were wild and so fun in this movie. It was all wild and so fun. Like Jack Cooper had a rocket launcher to take on the bad guys at the end.
Yes.
And
that moment when he tosses it to him.
How I interpreted that in my vision of this golden god who's been fighting all these guys, and literally he'll stand in a clearing and 6 guys will be firing automatic rifles at him, and he will just like look around and leave unscathed. Jack Cooper tosses him this rocket launcher because Jack Cooper knows that he cannot possibly use it as well as Danton. And Danton, master of all weapons, uses it to take out the most of the men at once that could possibly be done.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Classic.
You don't pinch
it's like,
it for Danton.
Yeah.
Yes,
one of the
exactly.
90s Bulls, passing the ball to Jordan. They're like, take it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just give the weapon to Danton. Danton will take care of the rest.
He steps in and shows you how to swing.
Great name, too, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
For this character.
This was before Roadhouse, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
right?
Yeah, I
It's
think so, because
89.
I think Roadhouse was 88. But either way, one letter removed from Dalton, who's also a very different kind of badass.
Roadhouse 89. But yeah,
Oh, okay, cool. So it was before Roadhouse.
for sure. Danton. So good.
Oh, yeah.
I love that he was like, when they abducted him, and they, right outside his house while he's taking out the trash.
Yeah.
Part of me was really hoping that we'd hear somebody say "Garbage Day." Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
It did have that energy. I kind of wish
It totally did.
that he had gotten the chance to put up a little bit of a fight before Sunglasses took him out with the asp.
Yeah. I also thought it was really funny. Like, number one, they have a chain link fence around their front yard. Like a 6-foot tall chain link fence, or 8-foot tall. Number two, when Sexy Black Knighty Perfect Hair comes rushing out to see the van going away, she doesn't shout for help. She doesn't try to go after it. She just grabs the chain link fence and watches it go and doesn't really understand how to deal with what's just happened. I'm so sorry for that character, that character and that poor woman that played her. It's like one of the worst women I've ever seen, like, written on screen.
She gets almost nothing to do, and then I did not see her getting killed in the final minutes.
Yeah,
No.
was surprising.
I was like, oh, Dan's gonna save her, and they're gonna get. I was like, oh, no, she just straight up got shot with what looks like a flare gun almost from Sunglasses.
And like, it also looked like she got shot low enough that the movie could have pulled the thing where, like, after the
She
stuff
survived
settles down,
somehow.
she's alive, or like it, went through and not vital organ or something. But
That's
nope.
kind of what I was thinking. And I was like, oh no, it's just gonna end with them looping his scream. Okay.
Yeah. Realizing the monster he has become, Danton screams to the gods, not able to understand the karmic reasoning for his misfortune. And then the film ends with a soft rock ballad, remembering the lives of those lost during the making of the film.
It's just like Rambo ending with that Frank Stallone song.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure I saw the same guy die at least 2 times.
That
Oh,
would
I'm
not
sure.
surprise me.
Yeah. Had to have been quite a few of them.
They
Yeah.
clearly had at least one bad wig on set.
Yeah. Every time they said, I think it was 2 times in the movie, they said, okay, everybody get after him now. Kill him when you see him. And both times I was like, was that not already what was happening? Were
Now
all the
it's-
guys not already trying to kill him?
Now it's personal.
Right, and then it's personalist.
Yes.
Yeah.
After, like, Danton like sneaks up behind Hogan in the night. He's got a blade to his neck, and then says, like, he's gonna keep playing the game. Or I can't even remember what the line is, but then, like, Danton just vanishes into the night. Dustin, do you remember what he says?
I don't.
Okay.
I remember thinking, it was like, wait, why didn't he kill him?
But then Hogan, instead of trying to go after him or anything, just screams, "Danton!" to the stars.
Oh, he says,
It's a-
"You made me the best. Well, I still am. I still am."
And then he leaves?
That's what I. Well, maybe it's not the same scene, but then after that,
Okay.
Hogan screams "Dan," but he also does that a lot. So
He does do it a lot.
It's weird because, like, I feel like he could have killed Hogan, and then Sunglasses still would have kept the plot going.
Yeah. You know what? You remember when Sunglasses didn't have his sunglasses toward the end of the movie?
I
You
do.
realized
I didn't
realized he
recognize him for a minute.
He really benefits from his sunglasses.
Oh yeah,
That whole section of his face, it's
it's
not the best.
unfortunate.
Sorry to the guy. I think he's in the sequel.
ooh,
With no scalp,
same character.
just his brain is exposed or his skull.
I mean, we'll find out when we watch Deadliest Prey because he plays Thornton.
Interesting. Maybe it's a flashback, or is he top build?
No, he is not top build.
Okay, so it might just be flashback then.
Well, I mean, he's still old and maybe could be reused footage. Top build cast is Ted Pryor, Michael Charles Pryor, so
Oh.
that's got to be one of their kids. David A. Pryor, writer director, plays Man and Van.
Oh, the Aaron Norris of the Pryor family.
And what do we see here?
eh,
Richard Pryor?
Hologram Richard Pryor is in this movie, repped by CAA, and Hogan is reprised by David Campbell, and Thornton is reprised by Fritz Matthews.
Interesting.
So there are literally dozens of people credited as soldiers. So that's more than the probably single dozen that were credited on this movie as soldiers.
Yep.
Oh, I can tell you, there are actually there's at least 24, or maybe even
Oh, yeah?
3 soldiers credited in this movie, because I went deep because there were a lot of them, and one of them was in Star Trek.
And you people, you're all
Oh.
astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
Good segue.
So it was only one, but is a good one. And the actor's name is Dexter Clay. This was his first movie. Afterwards, he would go on to be in 30 episodes of Star Trek TNG as just an operations divisions officer. He's just a featured extra throughout the first and second season. And then he was an extra in Pretty Woman and never acted again.
Huh.
But he's like very prominent in those first 2 seasons, and he's, other than Patrick Stewart, he's the first guy you see in The Next Generation.
Is that
now-
Webster?
That is the very fun part about this is yeah.
I thought it was.
So I went down a weird, crazy rabbit hole with this because, like, I had no idea this, but there's the actual series finale. I don't think they knew it was the series finale at the time of Webster. Season 6, episode 25 is an episode called Web Trek. And it is, and I watched it today because I'm like, I gotta see this. And Webster is playing computer games, and lightning strikes the house, and he is transported to the Enterprise. And,
Wow.
and Worf is
It
there.
must have also been a CBS show.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And they
Because they just went to the set. They just took
they
Webster to the
shot
Star
him.
Trek set.
Yeah. And Worf is there, and Webster tries to win over Worf that fun is worth having, and so he regales Worf with all sorts of. I should have put this picture of Worf up here too, of him talking to him, trying to tell him like why dancing is cool and why all sorts of things. And this specific image that we have here of Dexter, what he's doing is he's pointing a phaser to little Webster because
Oh my God, he is.
Worf told him that like dancing, after dancing comes war and all the other terrible things that mankind did. So as soon as Webster started dancing, Dexter got down and put the phaser next to him like, hey, you can't dance on the Enterprise.
Whoa.
It's crazy. Yeah.
There's no dance. There's no money, but there's no dancing.
But this canon
I'm
doesn't
kidding.
hold up because Beverly
Sure.
Crusher is dancing a lot in Next Gen.
Okay. That's amazing. I never knew that happened.
Yeah.
That there
Me
was a Webster
neither.
crossover.
And I didn't know about the crossover, and it's just crazy that it's the actual ended up being the series finale of the show. And later
Wild.
it's a clip show as well, because while Webster is regaling Worf with all the things that are worth doing and having fun, it's just a clip show of like all of these things that are fun. And I discovered through this Webster is a really terrible show. It didn't look like a good time at all. And then he ends up waking up, and it was all a dream. Or was it? because
Ah.
there's a little thing at the end that says, "Oh, did it really happen?"
Does he wake up with Dexter's phaser?
Close. It's his joystick that's been repaired with a tag on it by number 6. Repaired and inspected by number 6, the Starship Enterprise.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I just found a GIF of Webster of Webster using the joystick to be beamed aboard the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Oh boy, cocaine
It's
is a hell of a
amazing.
drug.
It's amazing. I'm trying to send it in the chat, but I'm just gonna send the link instead.
I am hard pressed to think if there is a more insane TV crossover than that.
Actually, it's probably just worth clicking on this article, which is I think where you got this screenshot, Travis, the trekcore.com blog.
Well, no, mine's from Memory Alpha.
Okay, great.
But
They probably listed it from there.
yeah, exactly. All right, I've got
But
Worf
there's
and him
a lot
up
of
on the screen
illustrations.
now.
Okay, good. And I also miss. I mean, I'm sure there's still TV shows like this, but like, how cool of a gig to just be like regular working background in a show
Yeah.
where it's just like the same people have to be in the background week after week. You
For
know,
sure.
that's how we got some
Yeah,
of the best little
exactly.
characters on Community.
And occasionally it's like,
Yeah.
oh, am I going to get 5 lines this week and get paid extra?
Right.
One of the guys early on in Next Gen, one of the guys in a similar place as this Dexter Clay is Diedrich Baker.
Oh,
Really?
He's on the Enterprise. Yeah, look up Diedrich and you'll see he was.
Clickety clackety. Oh my gosh, that uniform rather suits him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good looking dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's the jaw.
Oh yeah,
He's got that jaw.
he and Riker could get into a Riker off.
First season Riker without the beard is not where it's at, man.
Oh no, it's insane seeing Frakes with 0 facial hair.
Oh, you know what though? I watched some of his episode of. I started watching some of Frakes' episode. I think it's from like a year ago of the Inside of You podcast with Michael Rosenbaum.
Oh yeah,
Jonathan Frakes curses like a sailor. It's amazing. He curses as often as I do in conversation with my closest friends, just on a podcast with a guy that he met 5 minutes before starting the recording. It's great.
hell yeah.
This is a man who's directed kids' films.
Yeah, Clock Stoppers.
I was talking to somebody last weekend who has a friend that worked on Picard, who also worked with Frakes a lot when he was on it, who said Frakes was just an amazing, very real dude. And it made me very happy.
Mm-hmm. Alex, I believe you're muted.
Thank you. I clicked the button, but it didn't actually. I made the click, but the cursor wasn't there. Thank you. Frakes is one of the very few times I've actually paid for like a photo op and autograph at a Comic-Con, and it was Travis. Was it the one that the Motor City Comic-Con where you dressed up like Indy?
Yes.
That was the one.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
the
there.
one.
And the picture of me and Frakes is with an X, so like, you know, that's what that is. But he was super, super cool. There was
Hell
like
yeah.
no air of like, let's get this over with. He was like down to chat for however long we would have like made him chat with us.
Oh,
Seemed like
so
a real cool dude.
big surprise. He was more personable than Tom Savini.
Yeah. Jackass. Tom said, like, I don't hold grudges. You know, people grow, people learn. I grow, I learn. I have not always been a great person, but I will never not think Tom Savini is just a jerk ass.
Yeah.
You know, it's a kid who grew up like idolizing his work in thinking that like the Night of the Living Dead movies, including like his remake, were like the canon, and then he's just a dick to a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah, it was not
There's
pleasant
no
when I met him
line.
either.
There was no line. It's
No.
not like he was just like trying to get me through. You know.
No.
You want to buy my Tom Savini autographed double VHS of Dawn of the Dead?
I mean, I might actually, because I think I lost the Sex Machine magnet that he signed for me.
Oh.
Although I do still have the Dawn of the Dead booklet that he signed from my DVD set.
Oh, that's cool.
So
That's cool. I think I have Nicotero on mine.
nice.
Yeah. So Deadly Prey.
Yes.
Super, super fun. Watch it post haste. I emphatically recommend this movie to everybody
For sure.
that just wants like a good old time for 85 minutes. It's on Tubi. It's easy to watch.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, and then next week we are covering the sequel that came out in 2013, Deadliest Prey, and I'm nervous because I'm like, oh, I don't. They can't deliver on this tone again. Like this.
Yeah.
How are they gonna follow this up? So I'm really
Travis.
curious. I'm trepidatious. I'm hopeful.
Travis, name one bad sequel that's come out more than 10 years after the original. I defy you to.
Oh, that's true.
They're
They're all good.
I am gonna. Oh, sorry.
No.
This movie is rated slightly higher on Letterboxd. Deadliest Prey is rated at 2.9 versus the first film being rated at 2.8. It is also a few minutes shorter. It's 80 minutes long.
Ooh.
So,
I like them odds.
yeah, also available to watch for free on Tubi.
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
looking forward to this. Based on the poster, like, Ted Pryor's still looking pretty ripped.
Hell yeah.
And oh
He's
my
not
god,
wearing-
there's also the silhouette of him like pumping a rifle into the air on the front cover too.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure, like, yeah, they just had him continually in shape so they could one day make the sequel. It's like, you know, Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. Like, we got to keep.
That's why he worked out for
Yeah.
27 years.
Yep.
Just waiting to get called back up to the minors.
Just waiting. Not even the minors. This is there's got to be an amateur league, right? Or no. Like what's sub minors?
I don't know.
The company softball team? I think it's like that.
Yeah.
I think it's like, you know, the intramural Starbucks softball teams or something.
Penal League.
It's the penal
Sounds
league.
about right.
Yeah, just like Charlie Sheen.
The most penal.
Cool. All right. Do we have
Yeah, so yeah.
anything else to cover on this? Which I'm sure it'll bleed over into next week as well. If
Yeah,
sure.
I-
Points.
I think we could just wait for the bleed over. I can't think of anything now. Oh, I was gonna say that just with the crunchy quality of the movie, it's not to say it like looks bad. This movie looks fine for a movie I would have rented at the video store in 1987. Just,
Yeah.
like, video fidelity wise. But even in that format, I would have kept thinking that the guy playing Hogan was John Savage for most of the movie anyway, even though I knew it wasn't. That's all. He just really reminded, like, his unhingedness and his face reminded me of John Savage.
I can see that.
That guy's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Nice guy. Kind of like Michael Rooker in that way that, like, I assume. Like, Michael Rooker seems like a truly mad individual. But, like, in a one-on-one way, he's very nice. John Savage is similar.
Yeah. How has Michael Rooker not been in one of these kinds of movies?
I don't know. I just watched Michael Rooker. He's in Horizon. The
Oh, the
Kevin
Costner one?
crazy western.
Oh, really?
Yep. I was like, oh, is it? Wow. He's pretty prominent in this movie. This is fun.
Hell yeah. Good for him.
Cool. All right. Well, Dustin, you have anything?
No, you can find me on social media on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd at Dustin Meadows. My YouTube's Dustin Meadows Comedy. It's where my short films live. So my composer reels. I should actually have a new short dropping on there sometime next week after it screens this weekend. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. That's it for me.
Heck yeah.
And Alex, where can the good people find you?
Letterboxd, letterboxd.com/Alex Brunel. Also, this isn't relevant to the show at all, but last week, as I was capturing a Betamax tape that had been sitting in my parents' attic for my entire life, I discovered unmarked at the end of the tape was a extended regional news segment about Devo from around the time of the release of their first album in 1978 that had not been seen since 1978.
Amazing. Is that the thing that you posted?
Yeah.
Nice.
Just like I've seen every piece of, circulating vintage Devo video clips that there are, and this has never been among them. And there are some really special moments in the 6.5 minutes, including like extended talking one-on-one interviews with Bob Casale, who didn't get that opportunity very often, especially at the time, and passed away about 10 years ago. So it was really great to be able to share that with his brother Jerry, who's the co-founder of the band, and his son Alex, who's still around and who's a super nice guy, and share that with the Devo community at large. So that's on YouTube. You can search my name on YouTube. That'll come up. I'm pretty sure that's the video I now have up with the most views, because it's great. It's pretty awesome if you're into lost media or Devo or video preservation. It's good stuff.
Yeah, cool. Do that, and then you can find the show at Who Watches Pod. No, all the stuff. whowatchespodcast@gmail.com. Find me on Letterboxd. Continuing Here's August, and then so yeah, next week, Deadliest Prey. Which unfortunately, it's just going to be a twofer. We're not going to get like a Deadlier and then Deadliest for like a trilogy, but I'm looking forward to it.
And David Pryor passed away a couple years ago, so we're gonna not get any more of these, unfortunately. I think they may have been. Oh, it was in 2015, so just a couple years after making this movie, actually.
Unless one of us steps up to the challenge.
Could do it. All right.
I'd license it.
So, until next time, stay alive and survive.